Hello, little dreamers and wanderers of the strange. I'm Luna, and tonight I'll guide you into a world where shadows watch, frames whisper, and a painted smile may hide a beating heart. Keep your lights low, your mind open, and your courage close, as we step into the portrait that blinked. The portrait that blinked. Emily Clark was not easily scared. Not by thunderstorms that rattled her windows, not by shadows stretching across her bedroom wall, and certainly not by her little brother, who loved jumping from behind doors yelling, "Boo!" But old houses. Those creeped her out. So, when her parents announced they were spending the weekend at Granford Manor, the enormous mansion that once belonged to her great-great-uncle Theodore, Emily felt an uneasiness sitting behind her ribs. "It's just a house," her father said. "A very old, very drafty house," her mother added with a grin. "A haunted house," whispered her brother Oliver. No one corrected him. Granford Manor was ancient, the kind of place where floors complained with every step and dust seemed to breathe. Emily wandered through wide hallways, each lined with portraits of stern-looking ancestors she'd never heard of. But one room was different. The portrait gallery. It was long, narrow, and filled with dozens of paintings. They stared down at her with glassy eyes, some judgmental, some tired, some almost alive. But one painting at the very end caught her attention. It was huge, nearly floor to ceiling. A man with sharp features and dark hair stood in a velvet armchair. His eyes were an intense green, almost unnaturally bright. Uncle Theodore. At least that was what the plaque read. Theodore Granford, 1891. He sees what others ignore. Emily tilted her head. Weird caption. And then the painted man's left eye blinked, quick, subtle, like a twitch. Emily gasped and stumbled back. Her heel hit the baseboard, and she nearly fell. Nope. 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 That did not happen. But as she turned to leave, she felt watched. A strange compulsion made her look again. Those painted green eyes, cold before, now seemed warmer, as if aware of her presence. She ran out of the gallery. That night, Emily tried to sleep under an overly heavy quilt that smelled faintly of lavender and old wood. But her mind returned again and again to the blinking portrait. Maybe it was dust. Maybe her eyes were tired. Maybe... Knock, knock. A soft tapping echoed through the corridor. Emily froze. Oliver snored softly in the bed across the room. It wasn't him. Knock, knock. It was coming from the hallway. She slipped out of bed and crept toward the door. When she peeked out, she saw nothing, just dim lantern light flickering along the walls. She exhaled. But then, psh! A whisper crawled through the hall. "Emily!" Her breath caught. The whisper wasn't cruel or angry. It sounded pleading. She followed the sound. Instinctively. Feet brushing the cold wooden floor until she reached the portrait gallery again. Every painting watched her as she entered. But Theodore's was different. His eyes were glowing faintly. And tears, actual wet tears, streaked down the canvas. Emily's heart pounded. What do you want?" she whispered. The lips in the painting didn't move, but a voice, low, sorrowful, filled the room. "Help me." Emily swallowed hard. "How can I help you?" The tears on the portrait glistened. The room grew colder. "Free me, and save them." Emily blinked. "Save who?" Suddenly, the portraits lining the wall flickered. and for a moment she saw their painted faces twist in agony, mouths opening as if screaming silently. Then they returned to normal. Emily stumbled away. "What happened to them? What did you do?" Theodore's voice trembled. "Not I, but the one who cursed us." A chill danced across Emily's spine. "Cursed?" "A greedy man who captured souls in paint. We are trapped, waiting for someone living, someone brave, to break the spell." Emily hesitated. "How?" The voice grew weaker. "Burn the brush." "The brush?" "Hidden. In my study." Emily clenched her jaw. Scared or not, people were suffering. Souls were trapped. She couldn't walk away now. The study was a dusty room filled with books and artifacts. A heavy desk stood against the far wall. Emily searched drawers, old boxes, even beneath the floor rug. Nothing. Then she noticed something odd. A breeze, coming from behind the bookshelf. She pushed against it, and to her shock, the entire shelf slid aside, revealing a narrow secret room. Inside was a pedestal, and on it lay a paintbrush. Its bristles were blackened, stiff like burnt hair. A faint smoke curled from it, even though it wasn't lit. Emily reached for it. "Don't touch that!" She screamed and whirled around. Oliver stood behind her, pale as moonlight. "What are you doing here?" she hissed. "I woke up and you weren't there, then I heard voices." "It wasn't voices," Emily whispered. "It was a portrait." Oliver blinked. "A portrait talked to you?" Emily grabbed the brush carefully with a cloth. "It's cursed, and I'm going to destroy it." But the moment the brush left the pedestal, the room groaned. Portrait frames rattled. Shadows thickened like smoke. Oliver grabbed her hand. I think you made it angry." They ran, down the hallways, through the gallery, toward the back exit of the manor, but the house shuddered violently. Lamps exploded one by one. Paintings screamed, actual horrifying shrieks. Emily clutched the brush tighter. "Outside! We need fire!" Oliver threw open the door to the back garden. Emily sprinted to the old stone fire pit. Her hands shook violently as she dropped the brush in. Nothing happened. No, why isn't it burning?" Oliver grabbed 2 stones and struck them, creating sparks. The moment one spark hit the brush, whoosh! It erupted into purple flames. The ground trembled. The wind roared. From inside the house came a final thunderous scream, then silence. Total silence. Emily and Oliver stepped back inside cautiously. The portrait gallery felt different, lighter, brighter. Theodore's portrait hung still, but now his expression was peaceful. The vibrant green of his eyes had dulled into normal paint. The plaque below had changed. "Theodore Granford, 1891. Freed by courage." Emily exhaled shakily. "It's over." Oliver nudged her. "Emily, look." For just a moment, Theodore's painted face seemed to smile. Not a creepy smile, a grateful one. Then it froze again. Permanently. And so, dear listeners, the house grew quiet once more. Souls were freed, shadows dissolved, and Emily discovered a truth many forget. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to do what's right despite it. She turns a page. Moral of the story. Bravery means standing up for what's right, even when you're scared. Fear isn't a weakness. It's a chance to prove your strength. Until our next midnight tale, keep your eyes open. You never know which stories are watching you back.